Hey guys, just as a disclaimer, this episode is centered around the e-commerce industry and the e-commerce space. But even if you do not own or manage or market an e-commerce brand, oh my gosh, buckle up because this is such a good conversation. In this episode of Humans of Growth, I'm joined by Michael Jordan. No, not the basketball player. I'm talking about the founding partner over at Bad Marketing for a no fluff, no bullshit conversation about what actually separates e-commerce brands that scale versus the ones that, well, kind of flatline. And Michael has a really interesting point of view because he's been on both sides of the equation. He has been the agency leader that helps brands grow, and he is also a brand owner himself. And his positioning is pretty dang clear. The product matters, but the real growth levers are repeat purchase potential, platform strategy, customer data, and reducing friction everywhere you possibly can. We talk about why the value proposition, if you can even call it that, of we have the best quality is usually the most boring marketing angle in the entire universe. Why brands should stop selling to everyone, how TikTok can help you find the hook that your market actually cares about, and why too many options can quietly kill conversions. Michael also breaks down one of the biggest missed opportunities for Amazon sellers. And I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger right there. So this is a conversation about e-commerce. Yes, 100%. But it's really more about building a brand that people want to buy from again and again and again. So buckle up, Buttercup, because this episode, we're going deep. I'll see you on the other side. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, Allie. Happy to be here.
So, Michael, I introduced a little bit of the professional side of you, but in a sentence or maybe a story, who are you as a human and what is also bringing you joy right now?
Yeah, me as a human, much of what you guys see online and my life is dedicated to business, but me as a human, I enjoy being outside a ton and doing endurance sports and pushing myself that way. So climbing mountains here in Colorado, running the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim a couple summers ago. And so I think me as a human is just like pushing myself in business and outside of business. And they both translate back and forth to make me better in one and the other.
I love it. What's the best thing you've done outdoors?
I completed all of the Colorado 14. They're called 14ers, so it's any mountain above 14,000 feet. Colorado has 58 of them. California has like 6 or 7. Washington has one. Alaska has one. So just to give you context, Colorado is like the mecca of this. And it's some are hikes, some are like climbs where you high consequence, you fall, you die. So I completed all 58, which is a pretty big accomplishment. More people have summited Everest than have finished all of the Colorado 14ers. So
casual. And is there more of a risk of you dying climbing Everest or doing the 14ers?
Climbing Everest for sure. I would say death rate is higher, super morbid, but like higher. But yeah.
Okay, you never know. When you say that more people have done Everest than what you've done, you have to ask the natural follow-up question.
For sure, yeah. It's just it took me 5 years, which is pretty fast. Some people take 10, 15, 20 years to do all of them.
Okay, it'll take me a lifetime. So you're well ahead of 99% of people, I'd say.
Yeah.
So pivoting a little bit to marketing, growth, and e-commerce. To set the foundations, we're primarily focusing on e-commerce today, but to a very large degree, what we talk about with e-commerce applies to a bunch of different industries. So I want to kind of set that as the foundation. And I know you have worked with dozens, if not hundreds of brands and helped them figure out how do we go from 0 to 50 million to 100 million and up in annual revenue. And you've also probably seen some brands flop. So what are the patterns that you tend to see in brands that make the jump that don't flop?
Yeah, a little background context. I've had experience on both sides of agency and brand owner, and I still own my own brand in the pet space. So I've launched brands that have scaled to multi seven figures. I've launched brands that totally flopped and had to shut down, and then I've seen both of those scenarios on the agency side as well. So it's been pretty interesting being on both sides over the last decade or so. A few themes that I see, brands that make it, the founder is really involved. It's not just like a side hustle or, something that they do in the evening. You can absolutely do that and make a couple of $1,000 a month or something. But if you want to scale to millions and 10 million, 50, 100 million, it's a real business. It's a real job, right? You need real leadership and real team. So that's one thing, like founder being all in. Product wise, I would say something that you can have subscriptions and recurring purchases to. I've seen brands that, sell like a one-off kitchen item and they crush it and they do well, or they sell pillows or something. Like, you don't buy a pillow too often. But like e-com and business is already hard enough. So I'm trying to stack the odds in my favor and doing that with something like a supplement, a beauty product, something that somebody buys like every month or every 2 months makes the odds incredibly in your favor versus a one-off product. So that would be number 2. And then number 3, team. Like in all businesses and everything in life, whether it's marriage, business, sports or whatever, like it comes down to team. A solo founder anymore can't be everywhere at once doing founder stuff, learning about TikTok shop, learning about meta ads and learning about Amazon and being really good at all of them. So I would say like having a really good team and specialists that can focus on those platforms is another kind of theme that I see in brands that are successful versus not.
Yeah, I love it. So let's go back to, I think the second thing that you said was anything that's on a subscription model that's monthly reoccurring revenue. Can you dive a little bit deeper into that for me?
Yeah. CPCs and CPAs, right? Cost per click, cost per acquisition, on every single platform are going up and they'll continue to go up. They'll never get cheaper than they are now. And they were way cheaper 5 years ago and 10 years ago. So if you're paying more to get somebody to click your ad, click into your listing on Amazon, click into your Shopify, your TikTok shop, you're paying more for them to click and you have to pay more to acquire a new customer. You need to maximize that customer's value. So CLTV, customer lifetime value, or repeat purchase rate. And you can do that much more so with a repeat purchase product, like a supplement, like a beauty or face cream or hair product, than you can if you're selling a pillow that somebody buys once every few years.
Yeah, and I think this is what's so important is whether you're e-commerce or your service-based business, what is the service, the product that you can sell to one person over and over and over and over again? Because cost of acquisition, like you said, it's skyrocketing right now. And so for you to constantly have to go out, do sales call, discovery call, marketing in general, that's a lot of initiative to get somebody for like a one-time project or a one-time product compared to maybe they buy the product once, but then you sell them into the monthly reoccurring subscription model. And now you have, while you're going to have churn, you're now going to have like a steady, here's my baseline of revenue to work off of compared to, I don't know who's going to buy from me next month.
Exactly. You aren't starting at a zero baseline every month. You're starting at whatever your subscriptions are. That adds multiples to your exit. If you want to exit for big dollars one day, it adds, it reduces risk in manufacturing. It reduces costs in manufacturing. If you just know, like, I'm going to have 5,000 people that are going to have auto orders go out every month, you can plan a little easier with your manufacturing runs too, and then reduce costs that way.
Yeah, so with that, you want a product that can give you the monthly recurring revenue. The other thing I think you've mentioned in the past online is that you want a product or a service that is actually exciting. Something that doesn't feel boring. What does that actually mean? What does that look like in practice?
Yeah, an exchange of money happens because somebody is excited about what this product can do for them, right? Whether that's a service-based business and you're like, hey, I can grow your Amazon account without you having to, be in the ad account all the time, like, and you sell that and they're excited about it, or like a product, say whatever facial cream that can help with your acne. And look at this person that started on month 1 versus month 6 and all their acne's cleared up. And somebody with acne is going to get excited about that and be like, I got to get this product. Right. So yeah, you want to sell something that even more so like to go viral on TikTok or Meta. I've seen a lot of like weird products that are solutions, right? Like this, like special matcha from wherever that, is a more even caffeine buzz than traditional matcha, or like beef tallow, for example. Like, what the heck was that? But now it kind of rides on this natural, organic, non-chemical, and people are rubbing it all over their face and everywhere on their body. And because it's supposed to be hydrating and nourishing and natural and organic. And it's like, I can't go out and get like a beef tallow product or produce it myself from a cow, yep. Right? But like I can go out pretty easily and like eat some salmon or fish to get like some, fish oil supplements, or there's a million fish oil supplements. So I think like if you're trying to launch a new product, especially some exciting different angle that you can like lean into in your ads and in your content.
Yeah, and I think something that there's maybe a differentiator. There's my product is exciting versus the marketing I'm doing around my product is exciting. Mm-hmm. And then to some degree, maybe even like a third category of the results that we get are different than what every other product in this space gets. And therefore it's exciting. Can you tell me more about like differentiation between like making your marketing feel exciting versus like a product that's exciting? Because in my head, like supplements aren't super exciting.
Yeah, right.
But it's more about like, tell me more about like the making, how do we make a product that's kind of like, there's maybe 10, there's 20, 30, there's market saturation with the product. How do you make the marketing different and feel unique and exciting?
Yeah, first I'll say if you're creating a new product, it will not sell if your angle is we're the best quality. Everybody says we have the best quality XYZ. Yep. And that is the most boring thing in the world to a potential customer and consumers. It's like, yeah, everybody says this. So I have brands that come to me and I'm like, we're seeing if we would be a good fit to manage their Amazon. And I'm like, tell me about your product. Like what? Blah, blah, blah. If somebody says we're the best, like we're so much better than this, $100 million company, and I'm like, cool, but they're 100 million and their angle is not we're the best product. They have exciting marketing, yeah. Right? So I try to steer people away from that. As far as like how to create exciting marketing, that's what TikTok is awesome at. So I would say figure out who your number one best avatar is. I see brands, right, when I'm interviewing them, like, oh, well, our product can do this for everybody, for men, for women, for kids, for like 20-year-olds, for 50-year-olds. I'm like, cool. So you're trying to satisfy everybody. So you're not going to sell to anybody. So try to figure out who your single best avatar is. And I guarantee you that market size is millions and millions of people. It's more than enough to get a brand to 150 or 100 million. And the way that you can do that cheaply and rapidly is organic content on TikTok. So you can create 50 different ads with 50 different hooks and angles and see which one organically and naturally floats to the top. So the market, the people tell you which angle they like. And then you just start drilling down on that. Cool, that hooked work, this age of person, a female worked better than a male. Let me just like ideate off of that. You'll eventually come to your ideal customer avatar and then like your landing page, your listing, your images, the people in your images all need to be to that single person. And they'll feel excited because they're like, this brand's talking exactly to me.
And I think this is what gets exciting about TikTok is that because of the way the algorithm is built on TikTok, you can post lots of similar content back to back to back to back compared to you originally could a little bit with Instagram trial reels at first, like test your hooks, but then they've cut back on that. So it's very hard to test organically on Instagram compared to TikTok. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Especially now, over the last 2 to 3 years, like Instagram is much more aesthetic and like big brand, like with beautiful pictures and videos. Whereas like people go to TikTok, not to get that type of content. They want like real authentic content on TikTok.
100%. And so my question with that is like when you have audience segmentation and the people that are on TikTok are very different than the people that are on Instagram and Facebook and all the other channels. Like TikTok's very much an outlier. How do you take what works on TikTok and then adapt it to figure out what works on other channels?
Yeah. Well, you just understand exactly that. Like people go to TikTok to see other people in authentic, like selfie videos, essentially, right? We know Instagram, you have to be much more put together, much more produced, much more aesthetic. YouTube is a lot more long form, like in-depth stuff, whereas TikTok is a middle ground of that. So like I don't think like any of that is like a secret or anything. It's just being aware of that and making sure your content matches that specific platform. A lot of people, there's the Gary V's and everything that says take one piece of content and just put it everywhere. There's a caveat to that. If you look at his stuff or any of these big influencer stuff, like they match what people want to see on the platform.
Yep, 100%. And also, like, bring up Gary Vee. Like, we have to be realistic in two things with him. One, he built his audience back when the internet was easy.
Yep.
And the second thing is, like, he has this massive content team behind him churning out that content. So it's like when you're a mid-sized e-commerce brand or service-based brand and you see these big influencers who are, like, pushing out nonstop content, or the big brands, you have to realize, like, they have 10, 20, 30, 40 people on their content team slicing and dicing this to fit the different platforms. And it's okay if you don't have capacity to do that.
Yeah, I would rather see somebody go really deep on one platform.
Hey guys, real quick, this episode is sponsored by Parison Network. Parison Network is a matchmaking service that connects businesses to marketing agencies that will actually get you results. There's over 50,000 agencies in the United States alone, and picking the right one can feel, well, pretty impossible. Parison Network simplifies the entire process by doing all of the vetting for you. From the initial agency search to interviewing and vetting the top marketing agencies to getting proposals and helping you with the discovery call, Parison Network does it all. This way, you end up partnering with a marketing agency that actually delivers outcomes, not empty promises. If you're ready to stop wasting money on marketing that just doesn't work, visit ParisonNetwork.com and get your free agency search started today. That's ParisonNetwork.com, PERISSON network.com.
Then really shallow on every platform. You'll find you can go deep on one single platform and build a $10 million business. Now, if you want to scale to 50 or 100, you got to branch out. But why worry about 50 or 100 before you've even done 100K?
Right, 100%. And that's where it's like, it's so much more about how do I master one channel than rather be like the jack of all trades who sort of knows a little bit on each, because growth is hard no matter what channel you're on, and it takes time and energy and effort, and you can spread that yourself thin, or you can just go deep and figure it out for one channel.
Exactly.
And I think especially for e-commerce brands, because they have TikTok shop now, and that's where so much of the UGC and influencers spend their time, that's really where you want to grow compared to starting on Instagram, Facebook. And it feels very much like an uphill battle unless you have money to put behind every post.
Yeah. Meta has been around, like speaking in terms of ads and Shopify. That platform and that playbook has been around like, I don't know, 5 times, 10 times longer than TikTok. Yep. So the people on there, like the ads are more expensive and the competition is way more mature than TikTok even is. So like, do you want to compete in the NBA, or do you want to go in the minor leagues and try to like compete against those people on TikTok Shop where you can actually gain some traction and it's not like crazy expensive? So I think a lot of people start with Meta when they should start with Amazon or TikTok instead.
So pivoting a little bit to customer experience and buying your product. What do you usually see in terms of businesses? Like, where are they creating friction in the buying experience without realizing it?
Too many options is the most common one. So it's like when you go to a restaurant and the menu is 10 pages long and there's 300 different things to choose from, you can't decide on any one thing. Right. And it takes 3 times longer to order. So I see that a lot on e-com websites, whether it's Shopify or Amazon, with 20 different variations. And it just adds friction in the customer's buying decision. Everybody's attention span is short. We want the decision to be made for us. So reducing cognitive load is super important for conversion rates and just less customer friction across the board. And again, you can scale to a multi-million-dollar brand with, like, look at Goalie. They had one single product and one single flavor, and they scaled to 100 million.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get that concept for websites. Like, the more you have on a website, the more you have decision fatigue. My question is, when you pivot that to Amazon, where you want to get as many products ranking as possible, how does that come into play? Because to some degree, it's like, if I have more products, I have a better chance in theory of ranking when people type in whatever search term they're looking for.
Yeah. So 2 things on that. As far as like products go, to grow, eventually you need to expand your catalog, and Amazon likes variation listings because they assume there's, more options for people to click and buy. But like, you don't have to start like that. I see too many people launch and start like that. And it's like, no, like, you grow into that eventually, right? So it's the same thing. It's focus, because you have limited bandwidth. So I would say start small, expand your catalog, and grow from there as your experience, your cash flow, and your team grow, and you can handle it. And then second, this is like my Amazon strategy. It's like, you might have a field of like 50 terms that you want to rank for. But if you stuff all those in your listing, especially now with the new AI algorithms like Rufus and Cosmo that Amazon has, if you stuff all those into your listing, you just confuse customers in the algorithm and you won't rank well for anything. You'll just kind of rank middle or bottom of the pack. So we like to select 5 similar search terms that we want to rank for. We put that all throughout the images, all throughout the listing. And then depending on size and volume of traffic and volume of the brand, it could take 3 to 6 or 8 weeks, 2 full months to like rank and lock in for these specific keywords. Once you lock that rank in, then you can rotate the next 5 keywords through your Amazon listing. So, and it's just systematically down the list like that. So people like think Amazon is like, cool, it's one time, like, create the listing, launch it, and sales will come and will rank. But it's just like, to some extent, yes. But like, if you want to be a professional or a big boy, like, it's much more involved than that.
I like that. So let's say you acquire a new customer. How should business owners be thinking about customer experience after the initial purchase as a growth strategy rather than just like operations and like customer success?
Yeah. So I just wrote a book. It took me about a year. I've been testing my insert card strategy to collect customer data and remarket to Amazon customers specifically over the last 6 years. I just wrote a book and put everything into it. So I'm big on this. And I got this because I started on Shopify, and then through the agency now, we have a couple hundred brands on Meta and Shopify. So I get to see that side. And I thought all of these DTC founders are so focused on their email list and doing 30 to 40% of their total revenue through email and SMS marketing. And traditionally Amazon sellers, we don't think about that at all. That's such a huge chunk that brands on Amazon are missing out. So over the last 6 years, I started perfecting this insert card process to collect customer information from Amazon orders, stay within terms of service, and really curate the post-purchase experience, because most of the time we're just focused on PPC and getting the next new customer, and then we forget about people that bought from us. So we're leaving 30 to 40% of revenue on the table. So just curating that, through classic email and SMS flows, and really building a relationship with your customer, because people buy from people.
Yep.
Right. So my dog treats, we'll send them an update. It's an automation, but it's from me, from the founder. Right. And it's genuinely helpful. Hey, this treat, if you have a 5-pound Chihuahua or a 100-pound Great Dane, and everything in between, here's how you should feed them, how often, what size, and what to do, and just other important things. And people are oh, that's awesome. I was actually wondering, because my dog's 50 pounds and so that's genuinely helpful. And then I can send them another treat, or if I launch a new product. So yeah, just building that relationship and actually caring about your customers.
Yeah. So for people who do not currently sell on Amazon, if they end up selling on Amazon, what access to customer data does Amazon give them? And what can you give me a big picture overview of basic terms of service with that?
Zero. Okay. And Amazon, this is the biggest complaint from DTC brands that have been resistant to selling on Amazon, or they get on Amazon and they're well, I don't get to collect anything about them. You don't get their address, their phone number, their email, anything. Amazon hides that and keeps that for themselves. Yeah, so that's a big thing why I developed this insert card system. Every brand that I've implemented it for has been mind blown. I thought it was just kind of I don't know, you get you do this every day, you don't think it's special, and then a new client comes on, we implement it, and they're holy crap, this is insane. I didn't know you could do this, right? So Amazon doesn't give you anything. They've been better within the last, I would say, year to 2 years at releasing more data, but not giving you the info. So they'll give you repeat purchase rate. It's not super accurate, but it's better than nothing.
Okay.
They'll allow you to send Amazon emails. It's called brand tailored promotions, and you can send coupons to existing customers. And then through some of the data and AMC data in the ad console, they'll allow you to create retargeting audiences and stuff like that now. Okay. So they're getting better at it, but you still don't have you don't own your customers' information, which is huge for DTC brands.
Yeah. So now you've got me going down the rabbit trail. What's on the insert?
Okay, so I'll shamelessly plug my book.
Please do, all day long. I'm here for it.
It's called Prime Profits. It's 185 pages, and it's got a bunch of my stories, success, failures, what I've tried, what works now, and my exact insert card. So on the insert card, I started trying 10% discounts. They used to work, then 25, then it was 50. And people won't even take a 50% discount now, because you get online and or you drive down the road, you're just overwhelmed with discounts and advertisements. So that's not special anymore. If you open it, you see a 10% discount, you just throw the card away.
Yep.
So I started testing other things. It's different for whatever your product or niche is. But for example, like free warranty works well for like non-recurring stuff, obviously. Like we managed a brand in the men's category that sold like a $60 to $80 product and giving a free lifetime warranty, no questions asked replacement on that product. We were getting conversion rates on the insert card as high as like 30 and 40%, which is nuts.
And so people just they scan the QR code and takes you to them to your actual like website.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or a landing page, some interim website is usually what I do. So they're not like distracted. Right. So it's like, hey, scan this QR code within 10 days of receiving your order and register for your lifetime warranty. They scan that QR code. The automation I have set up, I like to use PostScript, and it automatically fills the text in if you've ever scanned a QR code, and it does that. So all they have to do is hit send, opts them into email and SMS, and then I just send them a link like, here's, enter your info for the free warranty, and then another link with like how to use the product so they find it helpful, and instructions. If you need help, here's how you email or just text this number back. So people don't get mad. It's like genuinely helpful and valuable. Some other things like for supplements or dog treats or similar products, it's like before using this, scan this QR code for important information. Then you give them important information. It's not like scammy. It's genuinely valuable.
Okay, I love it. And what do you see for like conversion rates for people actually like scanning and giving you their information?
When you really dial in your offer, you can get it as high as like 30, 40%, which is insane. Because on pop-ups on websites that say enter your info, and usually sites give 10, 20% off, like those are usually around like 15% is killer on that. It's usually 10 or so. Okay.
I love this. What's usually, so aiming for about 30% opt-in, and how have you seen with clients that increase like overall retention and then potentially like buying habits of going to Amazon versus the website?
Over time, again, like Shopify, you collect every single order's information, then you email, SMS, market to them. On Amazon, it's 20, 30, 40%. So as you build that email list, like launching new products on Amazon, guaranteed success. Say you have depending on your size of business, 10 to 20,000 people on your email list that already bought from you on Amazon, liked your product, they're still subscribed. You can launch a new product and like get it to bestseller pretty much instantly. If you see like rank slipping for important keywords on one of your existing products, you can craft a sequence that makes people go to Amazon, search that link and buy it. And Amazon you'll shoot up the ranks. So like all kinds of tactics like that are insane. And eventually you can add that standard 30% of total revenue generated through your email list.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So I want to plug you a little bit more.
Okay.
So with that, tell me about who's the best fit to come to you for all things marketing, because this is stuff you don't hear about from other marketing agencies.
Yeah. I mean, any brand, like at the agency specifically, at Bad Marketing, on the Amazon side, like you need to be doing at least 50 to 100K a month would be our minimum for you to like realistically afford our retainers and it not kill your cash flow or make you have to take a loan out or something. But that's kind of our minimum. Our bread and butter are those brands in the like $5 to $10 million annual revenue range that, especially on Amazon, like need professional management on Amazon. For example, big men's hair care brand came to us last week, thought that they were crushing it. and I audited their PPC account. They were wasting, they were spending like $250K on branded campaigns, like brand defense campaigns at a really good ROAS, right? And they were like,
yeah.
They were like, cool, this is necessary. I'm like, guys, over the next like 2 months, you need to drop this, and dial it down. And I guarantee you can add like 50 to 100K to your net bottom line. A couple days later, they told me they dropped it by like 20K and saw zero difference to their top line. So I'm like, cool, continue doing that. And I guarantee you can cut at least 100. So like brand spending a lot, I can like look at your account for 5 minutes and make you 150K.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is fun. Okay. I'm going to pivot us a little bit again to do some rapid fire. So this is first thing that comes to mind. Let's put it within the first couple questions within e-commerce niche. So for e-commerce, what's the most overrated marketing channel right now?
Meta.
Most underrated marketing channel?
TikTok.
If you had 20K to grow a business today that was not, actually, hold on, I'm going to reverse that. If you had to start a non-marketing business tomorrow that was also not e-commerce, what would it be?
Turo.
Okay. And if you had 20K to grow that business, how would you spend it?
I would buy a used car. I would buy 2 used cars and put them on Turo full time. I've actually done this and made a lot of money. So.
Okay, I'm avoiding the rabbit trail so hard right now, Michael. What is the one marketing kill that you will die on?
You've got to be on Amazon now. I still see brands resistant, and I'm like, guys, everybody buys on Amazon. It's where the customers are.
And I think the thing, and with that, like, and if it's their D2C and they're afraid to be on Amazon, okay, so put an insert in there so you get 30% of those people's information and you're done.
Exactly.
Like, easy. Yep. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show today. If people want to connect with you further and buy your book, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, you can find me on all platforms. I have quite a famous name, obviously. So you can't just search my name or Google it. But if you go like Instagram _MJordan, if you search like Michael Jordan Amazon, I'll usually pop up on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. And then my book, you can go to my Instagram, the link's in the bio, or you can go direct and buy it on Amazon, of course. Prime Profits Book by Michael Jordan. And yeah.
What's the insert that you have in your book?
So at the end of every chapter, I have a QR code, and whatever I went over in that chapter, I have like my templates that I use, whether it's a calculator or like my insert card design, the free Canva template of it, and you scan that and I collect your info so I can tell you more things and sell you more things, and you get value for it.
I love this. Awesome. Well, Michael, thanks so much for joining, and we will catch you guys on the next episode of Humans of Growth.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Allie.